Hey there, ladies and gents. This is Mr. Dickin. In this video, we are going to be talking about how to take our data results from the class survey that we had, and we're going to be sorting it and making some basic calculations to get our measures of central tendency. So over here on the side, I have a few of the measures that we're going to find, and I'm going to show you how Google Sheets can help us find a few of them, and then Desmos will help us find even more. So first and foremost, if I were to highlight all of the data values in my set, if I look down in the right corner, it'll tell me by default what their sum is, but if I click this little box, it'll tell me a whole bunch of different averages. So I have the average, I can find the min, the max, and it's telling me that there are 11 numbers. So by knowing the number of data values, that can help me find the median down the road. So right off the bat, I've got three different pieces. I've got the mean or average, and then min and max. Another thing that Google Sheets can do fairly simply is if I highlight this and I'm trying to find the median by hand, I'm going to want these in order. So instead of writing it out the quote-unquote long way, I'm going to highlight my range and I'm going to click sort. So I'm going to sort column A because that's where these data values are, and then A to Z means low to high, ascending order. So I'll sort those, and now everything's in order. Now we already established that there are 11 total data values. So if I were to find the median here, I know it's going to have to be the sixth value. So right here, 66 is my median. And then if I wanted the quartiles, it would have to be the median of the top half, so 44. And if I wanted the other quartile, I'd do the same thing down here. But that's something that we're going to get into with Desmos. So first and foremost, that's how Google Sheets can help us. Now we're going to go to Desmos. So over here, I have a plain old Desmos screen, and I'm going to create what's called a data list. Now to create a data list, you need to come up with some capital letter. I'm going to use the capital letter L. You can use whatever you want. And whenever you make a data list, you have to use square brackets and input the values. Now, if there's only a handful of values, it's not too difficult to do. But what is nice is Desmos can recognize the Control-C, Control-V, copy-paste function. So I'm going to Control-C to copy my data. And over here, I'm going to Control-V to paste it. And it will paste all those values. And Desmos doesn't really care if we're in order or not. So now Desmos knows my values. I have list L with all of my data points. From here, I can calculate all those values from before. If I wanted to know, say, the mean of list L, I would type in mean of L, and it tells me the average. I could type in median of list L, and it will tell me the average. Or sorry, the median. My apologies. Quartiles, we have to get a little bit more specific. We would type in quartile of list L, but since we have multiple quartiles, you have to tell it, do you want the first, second, third quartile? So I'm going to do L, 1. So this means the first quartile of list 1. I could do the same thing for the third quartile. So I'm typing quartile of list L, and I want the third one. So it's telling me all of these pieces. We can then go even further. We can figure out what is the standard deviation. Let me see if I remember the code for that, or that might have been a Google sheet actually. Actually, yes, that is correct. Okay, my apologies here. So standard deviation is going to be a Google sheet formula that we have to write. So you're going to do equals standard dev, and you'll see it gives you a bunch of predetermined options. So I'm going to click standard dev, and then all I have to do is just highlight all of my data sets, hit enter, and it's going to tell me my standard deviation, which is a pretty big standard deviation, so our data is pretty far spread out. So there we have it. That's how we can use Google Sheets and Desmos to go through and calculate all these values. And the next video, I'm going to show you guys how you can use these two tools to get some displayed data.